watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Good evening. Today is Monday, August 21st, 2023. Welcome to News 25. I'm Missy Kohler. A body was found this morning on Irene Street. News 25 caught up with Sheriff Joe McGill for the details.
At about 10:30 this morning, we received information from a citizen that they had located a subject down in a front yard at an address on Irene here in Pahrump. That citizen, just being a good Samaritan, went over to see if they could render aid, and upon approaching closer, found that the individual who was down in the yard was deceased. The citizen notified us. We arrived, confirmed that the individual was deceased, and found that there was an open door to the residence, went inside, cleared for anybody that was still inside the residence, and found none. And so based on the information that we found there, it is suspicious in nature, and we are treating it as such.
Emergency services responded to a structure fire on Elizabeth Street over the weekend. Fire Chief Scott Lewis gives us the details.
So late Saturday evening, we were dispatched for a report of a structure fire. This fire was located in an area without hydrants, therefore it was a rural response within our response protocols. As crews were responding, we found and observed a large dark smoke column followed by visible flames, so we knew we were going to be going to a working fire. As we arrived on location, we had a motorhome used as a fixed structure. It was surrounded by other structures, including another motorhome, a double-wide manufactured dwelling, and an overabundance of personal property. The vehicle was well involved. We quickly determined that there was no life safety issues and there was no known injuries. We commenced with a defensive exterior attack, which means in essence we stood outside the building because of the dangerous fire conditions, which included venting propane, discharging enclosed vessels, simulating explosions, and we protected the nearby exposures. Crews did a great job. They quickly controlled that fire within minutes after arrival. We again checked to make sure there was no injuries associated with it. Some of the impediments to our suppression effort was that this was in a driving rain with some significant shifting winds. But again, the crews did a great job and quickly controlled that fire.
A high-speed pursuit took place yesterday. Nye County sheriffs were on the scene. Sheriff Joe McGill tells us what happened.
Yesterday afternoon, we were in the area of Albertsons, and one of our deputies attempted to conduct a traffic stop on a vehicle that was driving recklessly through the parking lot. The vehicle failed to stop and drove northbound on Highway 160. The deputy initiated a vehicle pursuit and other deputies joined in. The vehicle was chased, pursued for several minutes throughout the west end of the valley, and eventually the driver left the valley into California westbound on Highway 372. We attempted to contact California Highway Patrol and Inyo County and San Bernardino County to ask for assistance in forcibly stopping the vehicle with stop sticks. When we approached the area of Shoshone in California, we were unable to get any assistance from any of the California agencies, and at that point I made the decision to terminate the pursuit, and the vehicle got away driving south toward Baker from Shoshone. We have not gotten any information that the suspect has been located. We are following up on leads on that at the moment.
A car accidentally crashed into the doors of Denny's restaurant on Saturday morning. News 25 was there. Fire Chief Scott Lewis gives us the details.
Jason Ernest of Mount West Lawyers. Don't be bullied by insurance companies. Call me, 775-727-9500.
Pahrump Fire Rescue is dispatched for an early morning motor vehicle accident. The initial report was a vehicle versus structure. The structure that being involved was the Denny's, located on Highway 160. As crews arrived on location, they found a vehicle that had impacted the front main doors of the structure. The doors were destroyed in the incident. However, the structural integrity of the building remained. There were no known injuries, and crews quickly controlled that incident, made sure that there was no one going to be going in and out of that building, and cleared it without incident.
Tropical Storm Hilary left some heavy flooding in Pahrump, which led to road closures. Mikey Ruin has the details.
As of Monday morning, a flood watch remains in effect through the afternoon, with steady rain expected for the next few days, but decreasing. According to officials, water and debris are still running off of Mount Charleston, and there is flowing water on many of Pahrump's roads. Because of this, residents are encouraged to stay home. Currently, Valley View in Amargosa Valley is closed, but other roads and highways may be having to shut down later in the day as water and debris fields continue to accumulate. State Route 376 at mile marker 62 near Round Mountain is closed. Dandelion Street in Pahrump is closed. US 95 South at mile marker 47 of Beatty is now closed. Anvil Road in Amargosa Valley is closed. A manhole cover missing on Highway 160 at Yellow Hand Avenue in Pahrump. Please avoid the Basin Avenue Road construction area in Pahrump. Some power outages impacting traffic lights are being reported in Pahrump, with crews on scene. The Emergency Operations Center in Pahrump will remain open as they continue to assess property damage, monitor weather, and coordinate responses with federal, state, and local emergency partners.
After the break, we'll have an update on the indictment of Captain David Berukowitz. Stay with us.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back. Following our previous news coverage of Captain David Berukowitz and his indictment on our Friday newscast, Rory Roselle reports with an update.
Captain David Berukowitz was arrested by the FBI on Friday and stood accused of using his position to falsely arrest former CEO of the Valley Electric Association, Angela Evans. Captain Berukowitz briefly appeared in court facing charges of deprivation under the color of law, 3 counts of wire fraud, and perjury, though he did plead not guilty to these crimes. Berukowitz stood accused of 3 counts of fraud by wire because he allegedly issued multiple press releases falsely stating that Evans' arrest was the result of a court-authorized process and that she was reportedly arrested under what the U.S. Attorney's Office says false and fraudulent pretenses without probable cause. The indictment that was filed on Wednesday against Captain Berukowitz alleges that he helped arrange a scheme back in 2019 to falsely accuse Angela Evans of criminal conduct. The indictment also says that Berukowitz alleged that Evans had allegedly used $80,000 in association resources to move an electrical pole on her property, but the county property records showed that she had not purchased the property before the pole was moved. Former Nye County District Attorney Chris Arabia denied to file these charges to continue with this case. The last thing that KPVM News 25 will be touching on this indictment will be that in this indictment, it alleges that Berukowitz lied under oath during a deposition during the federal lawsuit against Evans. At the end of the indictment hearing, Assistant U.S. Attorney Bianca Pucci asked the judge to impose release conditions on Berukowitz that include preventing him from posting social media about the possible victims or witnesses in the criminal case. Officials do say that U.S. Magistrate Judge Brenda Wexler was hesitant on releasing him, though Judge Wexler ordered Captain Berukowitz to be released from custody. The Nye County Sheriff's Office says that Berukowitz will remain under administrative leave. KPVM News 25 will follow this continuing story.
Death Valley National Park is closed due to active flooding from Tropical Storm Hilary.
According to officials, Death Valley National Park is closed due to active flooding from Hurricane Hilary. The park received 1 inch of rain by midday Sunday, with unprecedented levels of rainfall predicted over Sunday night. California Highway 190 is also closed. The National Weather Service issued a flood watch from Saturday, August 19th at 11 a.m. until Tuesday, August 22nd at 5 a.m. Park officials said Death Valley could receive more than its usual annual average rainfall, 2 inches in this storm, predicted to cause major flooding. Flash floods are expected to damage roads, likely making it impossible to get into the park or out of the park. The storm could also cause a power outage, leading to possible telephone and internet connectivity issues. Campgrounds, Furnace Creek Visitor Center, North Highway and Badwater Road closed on Saturday. Park rangers are reminding travelers to turn around, don't drown. Flash floods are rivers of mud and rocks that can easily sweep cars off roads. Emergency responders may not be able to reach people in need. According to park officials, last year on August 5th, Furnace Creek experienced 1.7 inches of rain in 3 hours. The event caused extensive impacts around the park, leaving travelers, employees, and residents stranded for 12 hours. The park was closed to the public for 2 weeks, and it took 5 months for some paved roads to reopen.
A passenger of a vehicle is arrested by Nye County sheriffs after they discovered drug paraphernalia inside the car. David Preston has the story.
On Saturday, August 19th of this year, Nye County sheriffs observed a silver Dodge Journey traveling westbound on East Mance Road that failed to stop at the stop sign located on East Mance and South Homestead Roads. Sheriff deputies conducted a traffic stop and made contact with the driver and the passenger inside the vehicle. The passenger was identified as Donald Schroff. According to the report, during the traffic stop, deputies suspected that narcotics might be inside the vehicle or on the two people in the vehicle. The driver of the Dodge consented to a vehicle search. While sheriff deputies began searching the vehicle, they found a small bag with a white crystalline substance on the threshold of the door next to the driver's seat. The substance was later identified as methamphetamine. While sheriff deputies placed handcuffs on the driver, they advised him that they discovered methamphetamine inside the vehicle. At that moment, the passenger, Donald, interjected and allegedly admitted that the methamphetamine is his. According to the declaration of arrest, Donald also stated that while they were being pulled over, Donald threw the controlled substance into the back seat. Donald said he missed the throw and it landed near the driver's side of the vehicle. Donald further advised he has a meth bong located under the passenger seat where Donald was sitting. Sheriff deputies located the meth bong under the passenger's seat, consistent with Donald's statement. Deputies then placed Donald into custody and transported him to the Nye County Detention Center. Donald Schroff is being charged with selling, transferring a Scheduled 1 or 2 controlled substance, possessing a Scheduled 1 or 2 controlled substance less than 14 grams, and possessing drug paraphernalia.
A boil water order has been issued for customers of Kyle Canyon Water System. Mikey Ruhan has the details.
According to Water District officials who operate the Kyle Canyon Water District, a boil water order has been issued for customers of Kyle Canyon Water System as a result of an emergency water system outage caused by the storm and floodwater. Severe overnight flooding on Mount Charleston and Kyle Canyon caused a severe leak in the Kyle Canyon water system, leading to major reservoir tanks losing water pressure. Officials say, although this is a precautionary measure, a boil water order is necessary as Water District crews work to access the area to assess the damage and perform repairs. Customers are being asked to boil tap water before using it for drinking, food preparation, brushing teeth, washing dishes, and making ice until further notice. All Kyle Canyon customers are also asked to shut off irrigation systems to help reduce demand on the water system. A rolling boil of 3 minutes is sufficient, and it is not necessary to boil water for showering or other external uses. There is currently no timeline for when the order will be lifted, as heavy rains, flooding, and roadway damage are limiting access to the area. Crews will remain on the scene until all repairs are complete, the Water District says.
The American Red Cross of Southern Nevada set up a shelter in Pahrump for those affected by Tropical Storm Hilary.
The American Red Cross of Southern Nevada opened a shelter on Sunday to accommodate individuals displaced by damage and flooding caused by Tropical Storm Hilary. Red Cross staff and volunteers have established a shelter in Pahrump. In close coordination with local officials, Red Cross disaster workers have developed response plans and received requests to open the shelter. The Red Cross shelter is located at the Bob Roode Community Center in Pahrump, 150 North Highway 160.
Sports and health coming right up, so stick around.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back to News 25. Time now for a look at sports with Mikey.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports. The day with the Stanley Cup tour continued. Goaltender Jonathan Quick, he had it. He's dancing with it, possibly. Las Vegas Aviators played their final game of the series against their in-state rival, the Reno Aces. They lost 7-3 yesterday. They're off to Tacoma to play the Rainers tomorrow. Las Vegas Aces lost their game against the LA Sparks on Saturday, 78-72. Up next for them, the Atlanta Dream tomorrow in Atlanta. Las Vegas Raiders played the Los Angeles Rams in their second preseason game, and they dominated 34-17. They wrap up their preseason on Saturday against the Cowboys in Dallas. The Oakland Athletics have hired Mortensen and McCarthy as construction manager for their proposed ballpark in Las Vegas. Henderson Little League, they're rolling through the World Series right now. They beat North Dakota 7-1 yesterday. Their next game is tomorrow against the winner of Tennessee-Washington game. Plum Valley Trojan varsity football won on Friday, 18-13 against Somerset. They play Del Sol on Friday, September 1st. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Sports can be a great way for kids to stay active, but there are a lot of other benefits too. For example, Dr. Matthew Sacco with Cleveland Clinic says sports can teach children about the importance of teamwork.
You're trying to figure out how to solve problems, how to work together, sometimes managing the frustrations that come with not everybody doing what you want when you want them to do it, managing whether your team is successful or not, dealing with loss.
Besides that, sports can also help a child make new friends, build their confidence, and learn responsibility. However, that may not be the case for everyone. Dr. Sacco says it really depends on your child's personality. If they have anxiety, they might not enjoy a sport where the coaches could be yelling or there's a lot of pressure. And speaking of pressure, he says if your child is trying a new sport for the first time, you may want to consider a rec league. The seasons are generally shorter and most of the players have the same skill level, which can make it less intimidating.
I would definitely start there, because if you thrust a young person into a new sport and it's not their thing, there are other pieces and parts to it that may not be working, then you are much more likely to face the challenge of a child in particular wanting to quit prematurely.
Dr. Sacco says if your child does join a new sport and they decide they don't like it, that's okay. There are plenty of other sports and activities out there. He says it's okay for kids to try new things.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
The Lerner and Rowe weather. Mikey had fun filming his neighbor's dog. It looks like the dog was having a blast, though. Enjoying that strange hurricane weather. John will have your weather forecast coming up. You'll know just what to expect this week.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, all up and down the Ace Country Radio Network and worldwide on the local BTV app. The apps you get on your phone, get it. It helps you in emergencies. It's great. Fernley, 74 degrees. Fallon, 75 degrees. Carson City cool at 71 degrees, but not the coolest spot in the state. That'd be Tonopah, 64 degrees. 65 out in majestic Goldfield. Beautiful Beatty at 74. Amargosa missed out on the Hot Spot Award at just 81. Goes to Ring Ding Ding, Las Vegas, 83. Winter chicken dinner and out in Death Valley. Boy, it really just topped out of the sky along with tons of rain. Hope you're all out there okay. 87 degrees, not too bad. Here in the Paradise Prump, let's take a look. Our current temperature, 78 degrees. High today of 80, so we achieved something. That was pretty good. Seems like fall time weather, doesn't it? I mean, these lower temperatures and all this dampness. Humidity at 54% as the sun rose this morning at 6:07. Setting this evening at 7:26 with a promise of a new day and a low of 66 degrees. That's where we'll head tonight under partly cloudy skies. Should be a gorgeous sunset. Promise of a new day looks promising. Look at that. Humidity at 67%. I'm hoping that's getting better. Will that dry out tomorrow? Yeah, well, it'll start. We get a couple days of sunshine, some clouds visiting Thursday, and then sunshine the next 3-4 days as temperatures increase whopping 13 degrees over the span of that time. I mean, we'll be back to triple digits by next week, Monday. Might see some rain falling out of the sky on Thursday just to kind of remind us what could happen. And boy, I sure hope everything happened in a better fashion than you'd hoped. That was kind of a big scare there, and a lot of people ended up a little wet, and then a lot of people ended up a lot wet. So, but I think we kind of dodged the bullet, don't you think? All right, back to the desk. Here's Missy Kohler.
I don't think I've ever been so ready to see those 100-degree temperatures and get rid of this humidity as I am now. Thanks, John. That'll wrap things up for us here at News 25 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Have a great night.